Hi guys. I guess I realized I wasn't live, and I did my little cover song, and so I'm gonna re-record it and add it to the video, my fully edited live video. This is A Horse with No Name by Horace Andy. Please enjoy. On the first part of the journey, I was looking at all the life, at the plants and birds and rocks and things, the sand and hills and rings. The first thing I saw was a fly with a buzz in the sky with no cloud. The heat was hot and the air was dry and the air was full of sounds. I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to get out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain. I said, la 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 la. On the second day in the desert sun, my skin began to turn red. On the third day in the desert fun, I was looking at a river bed. And the story it told of a river that flowed made me sad to think it was dead. You see, I've been through the desert on a horse, no name. It felt good to get out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain. La 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 la. La 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 la. By the ninth day I let the horse run free, 'cause the desert turned into sea. No plants and birds and rocks and things, sand and hills and rings. You see, the ocean is a desert with its life underground, with its perfect blue above. Well, I guess I'm... Gosh darn people calling you when you're on stuff. And the ninth day you let the horse run free, 'cause the desert turned into sea. On the ninth day you let the horse run free, 'cause the desert turned into sea. There were plants and birds and rocks and things, and sand and hills and rings. The ocean is a desert with its life on the ground, the perfect skies above. Under the cities lies a heart underground. Humans are showing no love. I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to get out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain. I said, la 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 la. La 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 la. Hi guys, I'm Melissa May. This is Painting with May, just in case you were confused. Welcome. We shall begin the painting. Today we're going to be doing, in honor of Easter Island. This is the painting. I figured the beach is nice, but it's Easter, so let's put an egg on the beach. Voila. If you do not want to do the egg, you don't have to do the egg. You just do a nice little beach scene. Supply list. All you need is a canvas or some paper, some acrylic paint. You can use craft paint. You don't need the expensive stuff. I like to use the craft brushes myself. No need for expensive brushes. A cup of water, some napkins, paper plate. If you want to use an apron to protect your clothing, feel free. And a blow dryer sometimes. I like to use a blow dryer. Alright, so let's get started. I've already squirted out my paints. One color that, so blue, white, and brown is a color that we need for the sand. Alright, I forgot to sort it. So the first step we're going to do is we're going to kind of outline the egg. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, this is just a reference point for us. So if you're not doing the egg, don't worry about this. So I'm just going to kind of mix a little bit of the brown and the white. And about 3 fingers up and 3 fingers over, you're going to draw somewhat of an egg shape. Don't worry if it doesn't necessarily look like an egg. You want to trace something circular like so, and then just add a little cone head top to it. That's fine. What I usually do for circles is I'll start in the middle and I'll swirl it around and keep making it bigger until it looks somewhat like the shape. So this is just a reference point, guys. You can adjust it later. This is just so that we don't have to wait, so that you guys don't have to wait for the paint to dry. Traditionally, I would just paint the background and then wait for it to dry, use a blow dryer, and then just do the egg on top. So, we're going to start with the sky. Using a medium flat brush. It's flat because one side is fat and one side is skinny. So this will make skinny lines and this will make fatter lines. I'm going to just dip my brush in the blue, get a big blob of blue and a big blob of white. And I'm just going to start going back and forth on the top of the canvas. This is the sky. If it's really, really dark, all you need to do is go back with some white. White will make all the colors lighter and lighter. You're just going to have to decide where you want your sky to end. I'm going to end it right here. So I usually like to put a lot of paint so that it slips and slides like I'm buttering toast, I like to say, and like I use a lot of butter. So it's better if you go over your egg a little bit as opposed to like leaving a white spot around the egg, because we're just going to be painting over that later. Sometimes if I paint over it, I'll use my finger and wipe it off. Ooh. So I want the top to, I want the part by the water to be a little lighter, so I'm going to go back for some more blue, and just at the top area, since the whole thing is kind of one color, I like it to be multicolored, but it's fine. It looks fine, just one color. I just wanted to add some depth. So more blue towards the top, and then more white towards the bottom. Alright, next we're going to be moving on to the water. Now the water has a little bit of a teal color to it. So I'm going to get a little bit of the yellow and the blue, I'm going to start off with just the yellow and the blue. As you can see, it looks green. It's a little too green for my liking, so I'm going to get some more blue. Okay, so I'm using this flat brush. So like I said, if you turn it one way, it's going to make really thick lines. And if you turn it, my cat, and if you turn it the other way, it's going to make thinner lines. And that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use the thinner lines side to, with white. I'm just going to dip it in the white. And just going to start at the bottom and kind of go back and forth. And this is going to give the illusion that it's water that's moving. So it's lighter in the fronter area, in the front, on the lower area, which is the front, meaning like it's the water that's closer to us. And then towards the horizon is where it's supposed to be darker. Next, we're going to move on to the sand area. So I'm going to just dip the brush in. So this is basically the same brush. I just kind of, you can either clean off your brush if you only have one brush. I'm just using this brush. So I'm going to dip it in the brown and the white. And so I'm going to leave a little bit of white in between the brown. So this is where I'm going to do the waves. So once again, when you add more white, it'll make it lighter. So this back area of sand is supposed to be light, 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 almost like an off-white, or kind of like the color of the egg that I have here. So now we're gonna go back to the clouds in the sky, actually. So go ahead and grab your flat brush and let me get some more white. So the trick with clouds is you're gonna have to use your finger, is what I like to do. Let's get some white. My blue is still wet. What I do is I concentrate on the top of the clouds, and there's usually like the middle section is the largest, and then, you know, the stereotypical bump, bump. As you can see, my blue is really wet. So I just concentrate on the top of the cloud, and then I use my finger to just kind of blend in the bottom of the cloud. And maybe add another little cloud. My cat. Ah! She's crazy. Oh my god. I apologize, my cat Tigra is coming out. She's waking up from sleeping all day. So there's another little happy cloud there, as Bob Ross would say. Maybe another one here. Some are big, some are small. If you don't want clouds in your sky, you don't need clouds. It can be a nice non-cloudy day. That looks pretty good. Oh, and we're also going to do the waves. So if you have blue on your brush, just kind of wipe that off. So I'm going to dip the brush in white and right in where we had left that space in between the sand and the water, just gonna start get a big scoops of white and just kind of dab it. Now my water is still wet, so the key is not to over blend it. You just kind of dab it. Some here, maybe some waves. Just kind of barely touching it. Blew off my brush because I'm gonna bring the white into the brown, but I don't want the blue to be down here, so just kind of pulling it. And now I'm using this, I'm making skinny lines. I'm making skinny lines because I'm going back and forth with the top of the brush. Alright. So now we're going to go back down to the sand, and we're gonna make part that the egg is sitting on, or you could leave it like this, but I kind of made it towards like the egg is supposed to be sitting on like a hill, gazing at the wonderful ocean view. So my brown is still a little wet, which is good. So I'm just going to dip it in the brown without the white, just the brown. And using the top of the brush, I'm just going to go back and forth, and just kind of do like a curved little line here. Now my sand is still wet, so and then for the shadow of the egg, I'm also gonna just get some of the brown, and at the bottom of your egg shape, um, at the bottom left side, this side of the egg, you're going to do a little line, curved line, or depending on if it's in the sand, and just start from the middle and go all the way to the corner. This is the shadow. And then on either side of that line, so what I'm also going to do is, for my brown, I want the shadows usually have a little bit of blue in them. They're cold, meaning like the sun is warm, the sun is warm with yellow, and shadows are cold, so they have a little bit of blue in them. So I'm just going to get a little bit of blue. A little bit of blue goes a long way. I'm going to mix it with my brown. So, and with that same color, I'm just going to hit the edge of my little mound here in the corner. I like to use my finger for mixing sometimes. It's like a glare. You guys see? Okay, moving on to the egg. So in my demonstration egg, there's lots of colors. So I'm going to show you guys first I'm going to show you guys first with I'm just going to paint it red first. So, I'm just choosing to use it red, do it red. I'm just going to paint it all one color first, and then if you want to do like different colors on top, like, or write like Happy Easter on your egg. So I'm just going to start off with just painting it all one color. Start off with from the middle. So that first color that I painted is still wet. Feel free to wait a beat. If it's still wet, depending on what color you used, which I used off-white, so it's kind of making my red a little pinky, a little pinkish. It's okay if you get some of your water in your egg. I usually just kind of use that as like, oops, like shadowing the blue. My poor egg. Let's see if we can fix it. Alright, it's looking a little better. This egg's looking, it's like looking for a ship to come rescue him. That's okay. Okay, so once you do the first color, I want to add a little bit of shadow, being that the shadow is in the back. So on this side of the egg, I want to add a little bit of blue for shadowing. So I'm getting a little bit of the blue. The red is still wet. That's definitely purple. I'm going to get some more of the red. And just start from the bottom left side. And it's going to mimic the shape of the egg, but just smaller. And it's not dark enough. You know what? I'm going to add a little bit of black as well. Now, when I say a little bit of black, if you want to add a little bit of black, you might want to mix the color of your egg with the black on your plate first, because a little bit of the black goes a long way. And so does the blue, by the way. So the great thing about painting is if you mess up, you can always just wipe it off and repaint on top of it. Okay. Or sometimes mistakes are cool. It's like the egg is disappearing into the water. Okay, so just like I did the shadow on the left side of the egg, I want to do a little bit of a highlight. Oops. I want to do a little bit of a highlight on the other side, like the sun is on that other side. So I'm using a different brush. First I'm going to make sure this paint isn't wet, because it's just going to be a big blob of blue. Alright, so now I'm going to get a little bit of white. And once again, if the paint is smudging, that's why the blow dryer comes in handy. Or usually I would just kind of wait a little bit, which I would recommend you guys doing. Oh, the lonely egg. This egg looks like it's in isolation. It's waiting for the other eggs to arrive. Alright, guys. Moving on. So I don't think I'm going to do all the different colors on this egg, but what I will show you guys is my little trick with dots. I like to use the back of, I like to use the back of the brush to do dots. Let's see, what color dots should I do? I'm just going to do white dots. It's white. So just get a big old scoop of the whatever color your dots are, and you just kind of like you're poking a hole in the canvas. Start. So if you're doing lines for the egg to give an illusion, just make the lines have a little bit of a curve to them. It's okay. I don't know why I just started doing vertical lines. So I just have fun, just get a little creative. You know what, I should have done a yellow egg, would have looked nice too. I was going to do something where it says like Happy Easter, you know, written in the sand. Which you guys could do. You just use the dark brown. Beautiful. I think I might do some red dots. Let's see here. Can you even see it? Scratch that. I'm going to do some black dots. Disastrous. Once again, if you wipe off the paint before it dries, it'll save you from having to paint over it. Alright. Well, you could make it like a marble looking when you dye it and it looks like a marble. Voila! If you wanted to add one more step with the shadow behind the egg, you can add a little bit of black around the outside and underneath of the shadow. Black or blue. I like to mix it with my finger. Yeah, my brown is all. I laid on there pretty thick, so. If it's already dried, but not dried all the way, you can also kind of moisten up your brush, and then stuff will blend easier that way. Alright, and then once you're completely done with your painting, do not forget to sign your painting. Usually in the either corner. You could do your initials. I'm going to do May. Voila, and you can date it. Let's see. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed painting with me today. I'd really love to see all y'all's wonderful paintings. If you post them to Facebook or Instagram, if you do hashtag Paint with May or Crafty Muses is my other name. I would love to see you guys' stuff, and I'll be showing live painting demonstrations on Tuesdays at noon Central. That one's for more like for kids, and then on Thursdays at 8 Central, like I did tonight. You guys have a great, wonderful rest of your night, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.